Well, first Mom Boss Monday came out, and I have to tell you, I had a little bit of what would Brene Brown call it, a vulnerability hangover. I had this piece of me that was like, I just shared a bunch of stuff that frankly I don't talk about. It's one of those things that I've kind of buried down a little bit in the terms of just uncomfortable. And a lot of times we don't talk about what's happened to us and then how we triumphed it. We don't talk about, or we only talk about the pain because it's actually frozen. It's something that is controlling us. It's controlling our thoughts, our mind, our progress into the future. And so when we've overcome it, we tend to disregard it as if it wasn't relevant, as if it didn't have any power. And so one of the things that I want to say, most importantly, is one, thank you for tuning in. Like, I was overwhelmed with the response. I think we had like thousands of views. And my goal is not like, how many numbers can we get? It was really about like, how many people can I make pause for a minute and say, I relate to that, I feel that, and now I feel like there's a voice out there talking, and maybe my voice can talk about it as well, in addition to make progress, right? And to make changes, and to have more things that bring you joy, and to overcoming more obstacles, and to not allowing other people. I was doing a post the other day and I said, the first thing other people will hand you is their own fear and their own limitations, right? They're going to give you those things to hold on to. And so what happened next? What happened next in my life? So we obviously had 4 kids, 2 and under. John and I joke we're from a small town, and all of a sudden we'd only been married for 3 years and we had 4 kids, 2 and under. It didn't look great, needless to say. And so we have 4 kids, 2 and under. John's busting his tail working in the construction field, and I am working in mortgage, and I was a processor. And so as I'm going to work every single day, there were these crazy, crazy moments where we had to figure out, how do we do this? And let me just say out loud, I had an incredible partner. I know a lot of people don't, right? There's a mixed bag of single moms and married moms, and just in partnerships and shared duty and whatever it may be. The only version I can tell you is my story, and hopefully you can grab some pieces from it. So we have the babies, we have our toddler. And my daycare was this incredible human being who said, hey, let us help you. We're going to give you kind of a leg up, if you will, and take the babies when they're actually quite young. So I went back to work still before 12 weeks with the triplets, and then Griffin was 2. And you can imagine what our house looked like every single day of trying by yourself. So John would go to work at 5 in the morning, and I would need to be out the door around 7:15 to be at work at 8. With 3 kids that were babies and then a 2-year-old. Insane. And so what we had to do was take a deep breath and get more prepared. And so the things that actually became the biggest heartaches, the pain, right? Like the being unprepared. Have you ever had those mornings where you're trying to get out the door and you're just unprepared, and then you want to blame the world, right? Like, it's those moments that can really break a marriage. It can break your relationship with your employer, because life becomes unfair when you start the day on the wrong foot. And so as we were getting everything going, we had so many days of just pain with the kids where, one day I took my son all the way to daycare, all 4 of them, but our baby, and my daycare provider called me and she said, hey, she's chit-chatting with me while I'm on my lunch at work, and she said, so you'll never guess what happened this morning. I pulled a baby out of the car seat after he was dropped off, and he was covered in poop and pee because his mom didn't diaper him. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. What kind of mom doesn't diaper her child? And my daycare provider hit me right between the eyes and said, it was you, Robin. And I was like, oh, whoops, forgot about that. Here's what's crazy about those circumstances. We have these moments where all of a sudden I can turn around and look at the work pile on my desk and hear that story from my daycare provider, and I can go, I'm failing. I'm failing at everything. I can't get this done. Work's unfair. The load is heavy. I didn't even diaper my kid this morning. I'm not cut out for this. This is too much. It's overwhelming. And all of a sudden we just bash ourselves. It's interesting. You tell your husband and he laughs and he's like, what's the big deal? Like, you know, your son is fine, everything's fine. To me, it was a measurement of how I was doing in life. And I think that's how women take this on, right? We measure ourselves. How are we doing in life by, are kids perfect? Did they each have a diaper on? Was their hair done? Is their face clean? Are they all done? And then did I get to work and knock it out of the park, right? Are my loan officers happy with me? Is my file work done? And there's this constant expectation that I have to tell you, ladies, we set on ourselves. Society's actually not even really setting it on us. We are setting it on ourselves as these just unheard of expectations to get it all done. And the truth is, one of my definitions of having it all is realizing that having it all does not mean doing it all perfectly. There's a big, big, big difference in how we see ourselves. And so yes, I sent an undiapered baby across town in a car seat where he was covered in baby poop and pee in his car seat screaming. And when she took him out, there was no diaper because I call it, you know, the pregnancy brain, the post-pregnancy brain that just got the best of me in that moment. When I get to work every single day, there was markings on me, signs of child, and there's a switch that I had to flip to go, I'm Robin again right now, and I'm gonna go back and check in on my kids at lunch, but right now I'm gonna grind. I'm gonna grind and be the best loan processor at the time I can possibly be. So a couple things about being a mom boss. One of them is be prepared in the morning, right? Get your stuff laid out. After that little piece of pain, every single day I had not only their clothes laid out, but their diapers laid out right next to their clothes. It seems simple. You can apply that to a lot of things, but be prepared. Get super, super prepared. Let yourself off the hook. Laugh at the things that just don't go right. When we make things a really big deal, and we take them on emotionally as a personal failure, they stay with us, right? We blow them up and they stay in our belly, they stay in our hearts, and we beat ourselves up all day long. And so I had to take a deep breath and laugh. The truth is I cried a little bit, but now I laugh because I'm like, I'm ridiculous. So anyways, we do that, we flip the switch, and then when we get to work, go into who you are at work. And it's okay to be two separate people and still be somebody that loves your children and loves your job. I look forward to you tuning in next time. I hope this was helpful.